Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, this is for anyone who is an author of a nonfiction book. Have you considered doing the audiobook portion of the book? And when I say that, I mean you actually do the audio. Yes, you can. Trust me. Lots of people do it with some coaching. Sometimes you need a little coaching, and we've got a guy that definitely can help you out with that. And he's all about the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. Robert Lane is back with us. Hey, Robert, how are you?
Good, Steve. Good to be back. Yeah, you can. If you are a nonfiction author, you got a great published book out there, but it's not an audiobook form, you can narrate your own audiobook. You can do it. You have the ability.
I don't have the stats here, but audiobooks are growing rapidly in terms of popularity because people are on the go. What are the numbers now? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, we're looking at probably, about 83% of the population actually listens to audiobooks. Audiobook sales grows every year about 26.4%. So that's a great growth rate in regards to audiobook sales. Audiobooks have surpassed ebook sales, actually. So that's another great thing. And another interesting stat is that people not only purchase the audiobook, but they'll still buy the ebook or paperback or hardcover because they like to read along as they listen. So that's another trend that's growing as well.
I forget about that point. That's a great one. And I remember when Kindles got popular. Now nobody ever says that word. It's so weird because people are listening to books.
Yeah, that's true. Or they just call them ebooks. But the interesting thing, and this is why authors need to have their book as in an audiobook form, aside from expanding your audience and reaching out in different market areas, is the fact that people ask for audiobooks by brand name. A lot of people now just say, hey, can I get your book on Audible? Or can I get your book on Apple? Or, is it available on Amazon? So that's why it's so important to be published and distributed on those three main platforms, Audible, Amazon, and Apple Books, because those are the most popular. There are a lot of other distribution places that you can get your audiobook distributed, but those three are the ones that you definitely need to be on.
And what's really great about the program is you take care of everything. So from the coaching, showing somebody how to do it, the technical aspect of it, the techniques in the narration, but also, and I think for me, this would be, if I'm on the fence, and I think a lot of people are on the fence about doing this, not a lot of people, but those who are, because they think, oh, my voice is not good, I can't do it. Well, abolish that because you can. It sounds better when regular people do it, not professional announcers. And it's also your book. We'll talk about that in a moment. You handle the marketing. You take care of all of it. It's turnkey. Like, how great is that?
Yeah, the way, and the biggest reason why I created the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program is to take away any confusion, the hassle, maybe feeling overwhelmed of doing the process. Getting yourself set up for publication can be a daunting task. So the program is designed to take all that away from you as we take care of that for you. So when it comes to recording your audiobook, yes, you can do it. We provide all the equipment that you need, so you don't have to seek out a studio or try to, find a way of how am I going to do this? We teach you how to set up your own recording space, provide you with the equipment you need. Then we teach you about the art of voiceover and narration and how to do a compelling narration. And it's more than just technical. We talk about mindset. We talk about the intangibles, the emotion, the things that you bring to the table when you do a narration. It's the same energy and emotion and personality that you brought when you wrote your book. It's in the written word. So you're just bringing that into audible form, and it's your voice because you wrote it, you lived it, you experienced it. Only you can tell your story the way it's meant to be heard. And then once your audiobook is recorded, we handle getting you published on Audible, Amazon, and Apple Books. Teach you some marketing techniques, things to think about in promoting your audiobook. And the course is 6 weeks, and by the end of the 6 weeks, you're published. You're a published audiobook author.
Wow. See, I love that part that I don't have to do anything except learn how to do the narration, which I feel a lot of us, once you give them a couple of tips, most of us are going to pick it up because it, like you said, it's your book. It's your baby. You birthed it. You think of it this way. If you talk about your kids, who's going to talk about them with love and connection better than a parent? This is your book. You're going to feel the words when you read them, but you handle everything. We just email the tracks to you. You send them up to whatever platform it's going to be on, Audible, whatever. How great is that? For me, that's a game changer right there. I don't want to do that stuff. I want you to take care of it, and you do.
Your book is your baby. Your book is your kid. So of course you should talk about it and you should narrate it because it's your story. Absolutely. And one of the things that I do teach in regards to doing a great narration is having somebody specific in mind when you do your narration. It's more than just, well, this is the market that I'm talking to, or this is the genre. No, it's like, who are you telling your story to specifically? I'm working with an author right now, and he told me the person I have in mind is my son. I have my 8-year-old son. Well, he might be older now, but I'm talking to my son. I'm telling my story to my son. And intangibles, they come through when you do your narration. When you're talking to a specific person like that, you're more authentic, you're more conversational, and you're definitely more compelling. And the listener is going to be way more engaged into your book.
That's a great point. Me doing radio, literally professionally, at my first paycheck at 17 and have not stopped. But in many radio stations I've been at, we take a picture and put it in front of the microphone, by the equipment, copy stand, whatever it might be, of who our demographic is. And many times in radio, female demographic is huge, 25 to 54. So we'll have a picture of a woman who's like 40. And when we're talking, we're looking at her. Random photo. You can find it at, anyone who is a mom, let's say, if that's your demographic, a wife, 40, she works, whatever. Same exact thing. We're thinking about who might be reading this book in our mind as we're doing our narration for the book, right?
Yeah. And I tell them, pick a real person. It could be a family member, it could be a husband, wife, friend, coworker, somebody that you trust, someone you want to tell your story to, someone that you feel connected to, somebody that you feel comfortable talking with, like you're sitting at a coffee house and telling your story, that kind of thing. It's that mental vibe that you're preparing yourself. And then when you do the narration, that comes through. It's subtle. Again, it's an intangible, but that's what sells. It's then that's what makes it compelling. It's the emotion. It's those things you can't physically touch, but if you feel it, that's the difference.
I want to tell everybody you can reach us, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com, or 631-319-6275, 631-319-6275. If you have a question or you want to weigh in, I do believe we have somebody. We're going to go to a call right now. Hi, can you hear us?
Hi, yes.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Anna.
Anna, welcome. Robert Lane is here coaching you on doing an audiobook. You have a question for him?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, when you're looking to get your book on audio, is there anything you should pay attention to? One of my main concerns is finding a good voice to keep people engaged.
Okay, did you hear that, Robert?
That was a little hard to hear. Can you?
Essentially, she was saying, when you record a book, what are some tips to keep people engaged?
All right. So the first thing is when you set up your recording space, make sure that you're in a place that you're comfortable, that is quiet, that you don't have distractions or be disturbed. Put your phone in another room when you're going to record. And if there are other people, in the house, let them know that hey, for the next hour, I'm going to be recording my audiobook. So make sure that you are in a space that you're comfortable in, and that you can focus and just get into your deep work mode for your narration. The next thing really is to prepare yourself mentally before you even hit that record button. Be grounded, be in the moment, be present. Tap into that energy. When you wrote your book in the first place, right? What was the energy and the excitement of putting what was in your mind down into the written word? And then when it's published, that excitement of having your book published, you want to bring that energy with you. Again, we're talking about the intangibles, right? We're going to bring that energy with you and have that already in your mind before you hit the record button. And then, take a deep breath, hit the record, and do your thing. Now, when you're recording the audiobook, just understand that the audiobook is divided up into sections. That's the way it gets published. So your opening credits is one audio track. If you have a dedication page, introduction, foreword, every chapter, acknowledgments, closing credits, these are all separate audio tracks. And in a sense, that's actually a better way to do it, because you can focus on one section at a time and not feel overwhelmed about having to sit there and narrate your book for a solid hour or two just to try to get everything recorded in one big long audio track. Everything is divided up. So it makes it easier for you to be able to, again, let's say you're doing your introduction and it's 3 or 4 pages long. You can just focus on that, bring that energy, bring that those intangibles, and most importantly, bring your authentic self. Don't push yourself to sound like a radio DJ or what you think a radio DJ is supposed to sound like. No, what we want to hear is you. We want to hear your voice, your personality, your unique style. That's what makes you you. And that's why I'm a big advocate of having nonfiction authors narrate their own audiobook. Then there are, of course, other technical things. Being in good postural form, whether you're sitting or standing. Making sure you're not too far away or too close to the microphone. Making sure you're hydrated so that your body is not dried out and you hear it in your mouth with mouth noises and that kind of thing. If you're hydrated, that eliminates a lot of that. Also, be aware of your surroundings. If the air conditioner kicks on, you may hear it in your mic, so maybe turn it off when you're going to record. If you're in a room and you hear a plane fly by, or the gardener starts doing gardening outside your window, or you hear a dog bark or a car horn or a car alarm or something, if you hear it or you sense hearing that, I guarantee you're going to hear it in your recording. So just be aware of ambiances, what's happening around you. If there's something that, some noise or something that doesn't belong, you just stop your recording, take a breath, relax, don't worry about it, don't get flustered or frustrated, it's all good. And then, once the plane flies by or that noise is gone, you just resume what you're doing, and then the more you do it, the more you lock into your groove. And it's amazing to hear how great people can do their audiobook narration. I mean, I'm so impressed with the clients that I work with.
I wanted to ask you that when they start and when they finish the course and they really start nailing some of these tracks, you must hear a difference, from here to here in that amount of time. Obviously, some people just pick it up naturally, but then there's others that, after a little bit of time, wow, they nailed it. Now they're in their groove, they're in their zone, right?
Right. And what I want to really stress is consistency. From opening credits to closing credits, you have to bring that same level of energy from beginning to end. Now, what I do hear, though, and that does actually make sense with what you're saying there, Steve, is I hear their flow get easier for them. I can hear it. When they send me their audio tracks and I do all my editing and make sure everything's to spec, which is part of what you get in the program, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I hear them, and even when they make a mistake, they're like so in their groove. They say something and they make a mistake, and immediately they stop and they say pick up, because that's my cue to know that that last sentence or section will need to be removed from the file, and then they jump right in, and it's just like it's a flow, it's nonstop, and they're so into their groove. Even when they make a mistake, they're still in their groove. They don't lose or get sidetracked, from that level of energy that they're at, and that's a beautiful thing to hear.
And what you said before, so important, even in my radio side of life, sounding like a radio person or trying to sound like, hey, all right, I'm going to read my book now. I've got a lot of great things to say. No, just talk like you. We want you, the authentic you. We have Lisa, who is in El Segundo, California, checks in instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. And she says, do I need to have a book already published to do the audiobook course?
I would actually suggest to have the book written and published. It makes the audiobook process a lot easier. Just so you know how it works, when an author comes to me and they say, hey, I got my book published and I want to do an audiobook, we get them set up. We help them create their account that they need to upload their files to, which actually we do the uploading for them, but you still need to create your account. But we walk you through that process. And what happens is that when you sign in, it's called ACX, will actually search Kindle for your book. They find your book and they will import all the information about your book, and then you claim it and it puts it in, and then you make some adjustments, which we talk about in the program. From that aspect, it is a lot easier to have a book published before actually doing the audiobook. Now, I mean, if you want to record an audiobook first, I mean, what's your source? Is your book a finished product, or is it?
Well, let's just say, why don't we look at it that way? Let's say somebody has finished their book, have a manuscript, whatever. It hasn't been officially published, but let's say they want to be proactive, give them a lot of credit for that, and deploy both at about the same time. Now, I hear what you're saying, where you need to have the book already out there and published before you can do the audiobook, because it goes and searches for the hard copy. But let's say you wanted to have both almost ready to go at the same time. Could you still do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can. And the way you would do that is when you are done with your book, and let's say you're going through the process of uploading it to Amazon, through KDP, Kindle, and you got your ebook or your paperback or hardcover, maybe all three. You're going through the process of getting your book uploaded. Same time, you can be recording your audiobook while you're doing this. You don't have to set up your ACX account yet. Okay, so you can still go through the program, watch the video lessons. I'm there for you, coaching you all the way through. And you can have your audiobook recorded. Now, what I would highly recommend is that you have a launch date. You have a launch date for your ebook, paperback, hardcover, and it could be the same launch date for your audiobook. So what I would suggest is you upload your book. You can make your ebook, for example, you can put it live. You don't have to announce that it's been launched. Usually you do that. You put your book, you have it live, and it is technically published, but your launch date can be 2 or 3 weeks later. So it gives you time to do some promotion. And the same thing with the audiobook. So when your ebook is published, then we can create the ACX account for the audiobook side of it. Now we can pull that information into ACX and do all the uploads and have that all done. So your launch date for the audiobook and your ebook and paperback and hardcover will pretty much be the same, roughly around the same time. And that's how you can do the launch together if you wanted to.
It's funny you said we can deal with the ACX and all that. He means Robert. Just saying.
I do it. I do it for you.
Well, I mean, the uploading and all the logistics and all of that stuff. because I find, people who are creative almost don't want to deal with the logistical end of it. Like, I'm a creative guy, and I have a bookkeeper not here today, and I had to like do an invoice, and I'll do anything. I empty garbage
Mhm.
cans, doesn't matter. But you want to, as a creative person, focus on your creativity, maybe working on the second book instead of worrying about this kind of stuff, which again, for me, and I think a lot of us that don't know the way, you take care of all of that. Even again,
Yeah.
you get a box at your front door, and it's the equipment you need. It's already been not only sent to you, but vetted, planned.
Yeah.
It's not just anything in a box. This is stuff that sounds good, works well, just from your vast experience. And by the way, I think we should talk about that. Not only are you a published nonfiction author, but you're an audio pro going back a couple of decades at least. So that's how this is the perfect marriage of who you want to coach you. It's not just an audio guy, because they might not know the insides and outs of the audiobook. By the way, I'm an audio guy. I could probably do some editing, no problem. I don't know anything about audiobooks, nothing. So that's where the value comes in, with you, Robert, having both sides on, under your belt.
Yeah, the whole goal of the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program is to have the author really just focus on doing a great narration.
Sure.
Yeah, we do provide, I send you the equipment, my lessons, my video lessons that are part of the program, go through the specific equipment that you receive, that microphone and headset and everything is what I send you. Those lessons are for those specific pieces of gear, teaching you how to set it up, like step by step. Everything is so step by step. So it's really easy to set up your recording space without having any questions. And if you do, of course, we have our group call every week for the duration of the program. We have a private Facebook group for clients only. So you can always ask questions there, which I do respond fairly quickly to all that. So you're not hanging for 3-4 days. Oh, I need this answer. No, I usually respond within one day, 1 or 2 days for sure. And it's usually even quicker than that. So,
And when we're talking about the equipment, I'm just having a thought here. So you
yeah,
use your own computer, you plug into your computer. Is that
yeah,
correct? Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. You don't have to, buy a fancy computer or anything. You get your headset, you get your sound isolation screen that wraps around the mic with a pop screen in front of it, so you're not, popping your peas, and so you sound really good. You have professional headphones. We go over the program that you use, the recording program, which is a free program, Audacity, which is a program that a lot of people use.
Okay.
It's free to download. You just download it on your computer, and you're good to go. And again, step-by-step instructions on how to set everything up. And then I have, PDFs that you can download as reference material. So, if you're, it's like, oh, where was that in that, video lesson? Oh, wait, I got it right here. And you could just look it up, and it shows you everything. So, and then when we dive into the narration aspect of it, really go into detail about that. And that's where I want you to focus on. And you send me a sample before you even get going, so that I can listen to it. If there's anything there that needs adjustments, I will tell you. When I feel you're ready to go, I give you the green light, and you go for it.
Wow. And even if somebody has a problem, I've encountered it before with different PCs. I use Windows. You might plug into every PC board is different. Every motherboard is different. Let's say there's an interface issue in the settings and somebody needs a little bit of help there. Maybe a driver is missing, whatever it might be. They could ask you, and you could walk them through that.
And I mean, it depends. I've yet to come into any issues regarding,
Okay.
Audacity not working or something not working. When you plug your mic in, for example, Zoom sees it, Audacity sees it.
Okay.
There hasn't been any issue because it's a USB mic. You're plugging it into your computer. Your computer sees it.
Didn't know that. Okay. Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So that's way easier setup, because a lot of times I plug into the audio jack, and sometimes you have to, finesse it a little bit in the settings, but yeah, USB. Yeah. Fantastic. How do we start? What's the beginning point here, Robert?
The best thing to do is get in touch with me. I'd love to talk to you about your book. Tell me about your nonfiction book. And then I'll give you more details about the program and how it works. You can reach me at robertlanecoaching.com. So the first step, just go to my website. There's lots of information there. And book a call with me. Schedule a call with me, because I want to talk with you first before I even think about enrolling you. And I do this with every client. I want to make sure that this is the program that's right for you. You're ready to go. And we talk about your book and get everything laid out. And when you're ready to go, we get you enrolled. And you have two options. I do offer, my top tier is one-on-one coaching, but I also have a group coaching program, which is capped, by the way. I won't take more than 8 people, and usually it's less than that. So it's still a very intimate group. So either way, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I have a couple of one-on-one clients right now who want that extra attention, and they get extra calls each week. There's a lot of extra perks that they get for the one-on-one. But again, the group coaching is fabulous. And I like the teaching in a group setting because people ask questions that maybe other people didn't think about, or maybe they had those same questions and they're getting them answered. Or maybe they have answers and go, oh, I never thought of that. So I've really liked the group format as well.
Whether it's group or if it's one-on-one, the part that sells me immediately on all of this is that it's not like you're going to a website, plunking in a credit card, clicking submit or send, and then waiting for it to arrive. Then you got to go online, look at these videos. No, it starts with a conversation, a real person.
Yeah.
Like nowadays it's usually not that. And any questions that somebody has gets answered right there in that first call. And plus you get to learn about the book, and in your mind, I know that you're already thinking what that's going to sound like with the person that's on the phone and their passion and everything. Robert, what's your website?
Again, it's robertlanecoaching.com. Pretty simple, I think. robertlanecoaching.com.
Yeah. And that calls a free consult in the beginning there, right?
Yes.
Excellent.
Absolutely. I don't charge for consultations. There are some coaches out there who do. I think they're crazy, but I don't. I want to talk with you. If you sign into the program, fabulous. I can't wait to help you turn your book into an audiobook and get you published. But if it's something that you're not ready for, or, I'm not going to hard sell you to death. I want you to be comfortable in the program, and you being comfortable and you having confidence, which I help build that in the course as well. That's what I want. I want you to do an awesome narration. I want you to have the best product out there.
Well, it's a relationship. This is between you and the student, the author, and it begins with a relationship that's an actual phone call talking to you, which is fantastic. Robert, thank you for all the insight. And every time we talk, I learn a little bit more. And I wish I was an author. It's just I have to find time to read more books. That's my challenge right now. But thank you again, and look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you. And thanks to the people who called in. Appreciate it.
Yep, same here. All right, we're coming right back. Hang on.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.